Our first story comes from someone who had just graduated college and was dealing with that weird in-between phase of life. You know, when you have way too much free time and no real responsibilities yet. It was spring, and this person's mom asked them to check on Uncle Rick's beach house in Delaware. Simple enough, right? Drive down, make sure nothing's broken, do some basic maintenance. The house was massive, the kind that holds 25 family members during summer gatherings. But when our storyteller arrived, something felt off. The house was completely silent. No board games scattered around, no family members laughing and drinking, just eerie, empty silence. Since it was getting late and they hated driving at night, they decided to stay overnight. Instead of sleeping in one of the smaller third-floor rooms they usually got stuck with during family visits, they chose the master bedroom on the second floor. Big comfortable bed, private bathroom, walk-in closet, seemed like the perfect choice. They went to bed around midnight and quickly fell asleep. But sometime in the middle of the night, something woke them up. A sound from the closet, like something had fallen. Lying there in the dark, heart racing, they stared at the closet door. Their mind was awake, but their body refused to move, like some kind of sleep paralysis, except they could move. They just didn't want to find out what was in there. Just as they started drifting back to sleep, they heard it again, a muffled thump from inside the closet. Then the real terror began. They became completely paralyzed, not by choice this time, but by genuine fear. Through barely open eyes, they watched in horror as the closet door slowly creaked open. A dark figure stepped into the room and just stood there, watching them. For 20 impossibly long seconds, this stranger just stared at them lying in bed. Then, silently, the figure turned and left the room. But instead of going downstairs and leaving the house, the footsteps went up to the third floor, the same floor with no exit. Somehow finding the courage to move, they grabbed their phone and whispered to 911 that someone was in the house. They locked the bedroom door and waited. When police arrived and searched the house, they found it empty. The intruder had somehow vanished. But then Uncle Rick got involved, demanding the police search more thoroughly. That's when they found it, an unlocked window on the third floor. The officer went outside and shined his flashlight on the roof. And there he was. This disgusting, bald man in tattered clothing, just sitting on the roof like it was the most normal thing in the world. He looked like he hadn't showered in years. The police arrested him, but he never answered any questions about how he got in, how long he'd been there, or why he was hiding in that closet. He just had this vacant, eerie look, like none of it mattered to him. The scariest part, if our storyteller had slept in their usual third-floor bedroom that night, this story might have ended very differently. Our second story takes place at a beach house on the Jersey Shore. Mike inherited access to his family's beautiful property after his grandparents passed away. The house had been in the family for generations, but now sat empty most of the time. When Mike invited his friend down for a chill weekend in mid-July, it seemed like the perfect getaway. They'd hit the beach during the day, walk the boardwalk at night, maybe do some fishing, just two friends enjoying the shore. The first day was perfect. They went for a morning run, spent time on the beach, even met some girls. Everything was exactly what you'd expect from a great beach weekend. But on the second night, around midnight, something woke our storyteller up, a shrill, piercing beeping sound. At first he thought it was part of a dream, but the high-pitched alarm was definitely real. It sounded like a smoke detector, but after listening carefully, it seemed to be coming from above the third floor. He woke up Mike, and together they raced upstairs, expecting to find a fire. But there was no fire, no smoke, no signs of any emergency at all. After several minutes of searching, they found the source of that god-awful noise. Hidden under a pillow in one of the bedrooms was a small black device, about the size of a walkie-talkie, completely smooth except for a blinking red light on top and a single switch on the side. When they flipped the switch, the beeping stopped immediately. Neither of them had ever seen this device before. Mike swore no family members had been in the house in ages. They spent an hour trying to figure out what it was and how it got there, but came up with no satisfying answers. Then our storyteller had a terrifying realization. He flipped the switch again to test it, and sure enough, the beeping started up. The only way to operate the device was by hand. Someone else was in the house. They immediately called police and barricaded themselves in Mike's room. When officers arrived and searched the house, what they found was horrifying. Every single window on the third floor was wide open. The beds were flipped, drawers were pulled out. Everything was scattered on the floor. The room where they found the device looked completely ransacked, even though it had been neat and tidy when they first searched it. The officers found no one hiding, no prints, no weapons. They told the friends to lock all windows and call if anything else happened. Then they just left. Mike and his friend didn't feel safe, but they had no choice. They decided to sleep there the rest of the night and leave early in the morning. Fortunately, whoever had been playing these twisted games with them seemed to have left. But think about it, someone had been hiding in that house, watching them, waiting for the perfect moment to mess with their heads. And for all we know, that person might never have actually left. Our final story is by far the most disturbing, and I need to warn you again that this content is quite intense. A 22-year-old woman, fresh out of college and living with her parents while saving money, was invited by her wealthy friend Lindsay to spend a weekend at her family's ultra-modern beach house. It was like something out of a movie. Private beach, military safe house aesthetic. Absolutely stunning. The four friends, our storyteller Lindsay, Sabrina, and Thea, decided to spend their first night stargazing on the private beach, drinking and listening to music. That's when they noticed a flickering light in the distance. The light was moving back and forth like a handheld flashlight, and soon they could see it was 3 or 4 people walking leisurely in their direction. As they got closer, the friends heard laughter and relaxed a bit. It turned out to be 3 guys who looked a year or 2 older, with that typical beach boy look. They sat down with beers and joined the group for what seemed like a great time. The guys were friendly but not overly flirtatious. After an hour and several drinks, the guys invited the friends back to their place. Our storyteller was exhausted and decided to call it a night, but she could tell her 3 friends wanted to continue hanging out, especially Thea, who was known for being wild with guys. So she went back to Lindsay's house alone and went to bed around 3 a.m. That's when she got the FaceTime call that changed everything. Lindsay was screaming into the phone that Thea and Sabrina had been kidnapped, and she needed to get to Lindsay's car immediately. The words hit like ice-cold water across her face. With shaking hands, she threw on clothes and sprinted to the car. Lindsay had already called police but guided her through finding the keys and getting out of the house. She described the kidnapper's car and which direction it had gone. Our storyteller drove at insanely unsafe speeds down empty roads, trying to catch up. When she finally spotted a car matching the description, she called 911 and gave them the exact location. The dispatcher told her to keep her distance. When police lights appeared ahead, the car didn't try to evade. The kidnappers probably thought it was an unrelated stop. Everything happened fast after that. Police forcibly removed all 3 men from the SUV at gunpoint, handcuffed them and put them in cruisers. Then an officer walked to the trunk of the car and opened it. Thea and Sabrina were inside, bound and badly bruised. Here's what actually happened that night. After our storyteller went to bed, the others continued drinking. Lindsay was trying to be responsible, since it was her family's house. At some point, the guy suggested going to bed, so they paired off. But when Lindsay told the 3rd guy she was going home, he got angry. They argued, and he told her to get the hell out and never come back. Lindsay was happy to leave, but halfway home she realized she'd forgotten her purse. When she went back to get it, she saw the guys throwing Thea and Sabrina into the back of their car. Thea's lawyer parents worked to keep the case away from public attention, while ensuring maximum prison sentences for the kidnappers. It turned out the house the men were staying in didn't even belong to them. It was owned by an elderly couple who were vacationing in another country. The kidnapping charges, plus breaking and entering and other crimes, put them away for a long time. But our storyteller says no sentence could properly compensate for what they did. This incident traumatized her for years. She couldn't handle beaches, late nights, or talking to strangers, no matter how harmless they seemed. She became antisocial and drifted away from her friends for a while. The most chilling part. If she hadn't gone home that night, she might not have been able to get to Lindsay's car in time. And without that, police might never have found the kidnapper's vehicle. These 3 stories show us that even the most beautiful, peaceful places can harbor unimaginable dangers. Beach houses that should represent relaxation and escape can become the setting for your worst nightmares. The lesson here is to never travel or never stay in vacation rentals, but always trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Always let someone know where you are, keep your phone charged, and never hesitate to call for help. What do you think about these stories? Have you ever had a creepy experience at a beach house or vacation rental? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed these terrifying true stories, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more spine-chilling content. I've got plenty more scary stories coming your way.